Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade, and today we're going to be taking a look at a head and shoulders short pattern here on crude oil. Now, crude oil has had just a rocket ship morning. Starting at, the low was at 320 this morning, and ever since then, it hasn't stopped going up. We had the low down there, was it about 47.11, and the high all the way up at 49.10. It's almost a $2 move, and it's not even just past 8 o'clock. So we've had a really, really big move on it. Let me get my stop in place here. 49.10, we'll place that. Now, we're only short one contract just because the stop size is really big. So the target's got to go down here, 47.71 or so, and that's really all we can work with right now. Kind of unfortunate. It would have been nice to be able to hop in this with a little bit bigger size, but not really much of a chance to do it. Really that. We don't have that option in this case. So our stop right now, 48.41, all the way up 69 tick stop. So you can see it's a pretty big stop. Now that does also mean 48.41 to our target. We're looking at a relatively large target at 70 ticks. So it's still pretty 1-to-1. As we start to break down, we can ratchet our stop in a little bit closer, but the initial risk has got to be up at about 49.10. So there's not really a whole lot we can do about it right now. If we do start breaking down, maybe even pull back, retest it, and then fall, then we'll look to lock our stop in, ahead of that right shoulder there. But until we see that, we've really got to leave our stop up here for now. But you can see that head and shoulders pattern really, really nice. The only thing that makes it a little bit kind of ugly is this big wick at the top here. But if you kind of nix that wick, you'll see the left shoulder, head, right shoulder, nice easy view on the head and shoulders pattern at these highs. We're having a break of that little kind of shoulder line there. Now, the aggressive entry is where we entered right now, 48.41. Sometimes you can get the option of a pullback and resell that retest of the neckline. I know some folks like using fibs and all kinds of other stuff there. The best spot right there, right at the retested neckline, sell it there and then drop it down. We're in a little bit aggressively, but again, you've got plenty of options here, and you can see it is kind of reacting aggressively, just like we were kind of looking for. But so short 48.41, looking for our target 47.71, looking for 70 ticks on the trade to the downside. One contract, we'll look to lock our stop in a little bit closer. I'm not a big fan of 70 ticks of risk, but as we get a little bit more movement, we'll look to lock the stop in closer and see if we can trail this thing down to its target. All right, we're back. I just want to do a quick little update here. It definitely took a little while to get to where we're going, but that first target, if you have multiple contracts, would get taken off here, 48.06 or so. Now, we just hit that 50% of the move, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock my stop in a little bit closer here. I wouldn't blame anybody for honestly just going to break even, right? I mean, you've got the break even option as well to lock out some of the risk. With this candle that we're seeing right now, it honestly doesn't look that bad. For right now, I'm going to lock it in ahead of that right shoulder. 48.78, and the reason I'm saying right now it doesn't look that bad, we had this big spiking candle, and that was after that retest of that of the neckline. So you did have an option to get back a little bit farther, but after that big kind of wicky movement there, it followed up with another really bearish candle. So basically what I'm looking at right now is if we fall lower, we shouldn't really ever come back above that candle, and we're already back to those lows. So since we're back to those lows, I'm going to lock my stop in just a couple ticks ahead of that candle there, 48.38. So if it does come back on us with a double bottom here, 47.89, we still lock in a little bit of profit. It's obviously not what we're looking for, but hey, 3 ticks is better than minus 70, right? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. But we shouldn't see it come back at all from what we're kind of viewing at the moment. Now, one area of a little bit of concern was this little kind of consolidation that we saw back here in that area, but it looks like it just wants to rocket right through it. So we got that target filled. Beautiful. Easy target to the downside. Took a little while to get there. Let me cancel my stop. Took a little while to get there. Not a huge surprise just because it fluctuated around a little bit. Retested that neckline. Nice little sell. If you missed that initial retest, it actually gave you another opportunity to limit in a little bit back, even at the zero line. Once we hit that 50%, decided to lock the stop in a little bit ahead of break even just based on what we were seeing in the candlesticks there, and then a nice continuation to the downside, 47.69. Now, if you have enough contracts to trade multiples, not only did you get the 50%, you got the 100%, but you still have possibly room to go. You've got that 200% down there, and on a head and shoulders pattern at 200%, a little bit more difficult to attain. If it does get there, it may take a little bit of time. Underneath that, the 300% at 46.23. For me, based on the risk profile, I really didn't want to go into much more than one contract. So from our entry here, 48.41, down to our target, 47.71. That locks in 71 ticks. So definitely not bad at all. No, that's 70 ticks. 70 ticks. $700 on the trade, and that's going to do it for me today. So $700. If you have any questions about it, feel free to send an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com, and as always, we'll catch you next time.